Hey everybody, welcome back to Emerald City Hockey Postgame Live after that awesome Kraken 3-0 win over the Nashville Predators. They keep it rolling, get back on the win train, bank another 2 points. Joey with another shutout on a TNT broadcasted game. I'm starting to think maybe there's something going on there. But this was a good one. It's great to be back, seeing all the win graphics around Climate Pledge Arena. And just celebrating Kraken hockey as they get it done yet again. I want to thank everybody who can join us. I know there's just so many people impacted by the power outages and everything. I hope everybody was able to stay safe through the storm kind of last night, and I think there's maybe more coming. I don't know. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us, who's able to join us, or if you're catching this later on repeat. I hope everybody's doing well despite everything. Let's just get into it, right? I mean, it's another Kraken win. We get to do another Disco Dan dance party. First super chat here from Schultz, a ding dong and a shutout. That's Kraken hockey, baby. Yes, so Daniel Sprong is on the board again as a member of the Seattle Kraken, picks up his first goal on his round 2 with the Seattle Kraken. We got to come up with like a good name to call it there, right? But yeah, it was good to see Daniel Sprong back, and what a play from Chandler Stevenson on that goal to set that up. I mean, the move made in front, just UC Saros is just way out of the way, and Daniel Sprong's able to bury that one and collect his first goal as a member of the Kraken again. Chandler Stevenson, I mean, had a night tonight with those 2 beautiful assists, both on that goal where he creates that thing basically entirely, and then on the one on the stick feed over to Brandon Montour for Montour's goal, the kind of insurance goal there for the Kraken. Chandler Stevenson definitely deserved first star tonight, and he did get first star. And then yes, Schultz, Joey shutout. I mean, it's just great to see, just right back at it. Joey's had an incredible, really month so far here in November. I mean, even those games on the road trip, you wouldn't say he was necessarily the problem with what the Kraken were doing there. He's just so dialed in as really the starter for the Seattle Kraken, and nights like tonight are why he has earned that role and kind of cemented himself in that role. And I know we're going to talk about him a lot more with other comments, so I'm going to jump to the next super chat here for this one from B. What could be better than a Joey Daccord shutout? Literally nothing. What an amazing win. So fun to watch. I love Kraken hockey. Yeah, there is basically nothing that is better than a Joey Daccord shutout. Did such a good job of seeing the puck through traffic. Nashville really wanted to clog up the lanes as much as they could and try to get, either deflections or at least screenshots. And Joey did a great job of kind of fighting through that traffic, being able to see around it, keep his eye on the puck, and be there to make the save. I thought that was really impressive. I also want to credit the group in front of Joey for this one, because there was a lot of those opportunities too, where Nashville was working it to the inside, whether it was via pass or just kind of good player movement. And the Kraken did a great job of getting in front of the puck and taking away their shooting lanes when they were going to get like a high percentage look. There was it felt like a lot of important blocked shots from the Kraken tonight. And so as awesome and amazing a job as Joey did, and there's certainly no denying that, I also want to give a shout out to all the other members of the Kraken that really, they helped make his night a tiny bit easier with the work that they were doing in front of him. But it was another solid performance from Joey. He's so dialed in right now, and I don't know, this seemed even better. I know, obviously the shutout signals that it's better than maybe some of his last couple games, but there was no like kind of misadventures in this one. He had to kill off a decent amount of power plays for Nashville for the first time in a little while, as the Kraken had been doing a good job of staying out of the box. It was a well-earned shutout for Joey Daccord, and just another dominant performance from him. And like I said, he is the Kraken starter. He has done everything in his power to really earn that role and cement himself in that spot for them. And tonight was no different. Light with the next super chat. This was such a good effort at both ends. Great defense, great offense. If not for Saros playing great, that game should have been a landslide. It would have looked similar to the game that we saw in Nashville last month, right? At the very beginning of the season where the Kraken put up 7. I think UC Saros was still figuring things out at the beginning of the season. He had a couple rough starts to start the season. He's been pretty lights out here as of late. I know there was the thing talked about with his he made a change to his goaltending stick about 10 games ago. He had a 930 save percentage in those 10 games coming into this one. He really figured things out. He's top 5 in the league in goals saved above expected. You could see why watching this one. He is back, and he's dialed in a way that he wasn't when the Kraken first played Nashville in Nashville. So I am with you, Light. I think if Saros had played the way he did a month ago, this game looks different, and the Kraken are able to put up a lot more. But yeah, it's they were still able to get it done. Joey took care of his stuff in his own zone. Like I said, the team played good defense in front of him as well. And, credit to guys like Chandler Stevenson really generating the offense here, creating offense, right? We talk about the finishing and the goal scoring and stuff, but when you get a guy who can, certainly on that first goal, that Daniel Sprong goal, that is created by Chandler Stevenson doing what he's doing, pulling those guys out of position, pulling Saros out of position, making the feed over to Sprong, who's then able just to bury it in an empty net. That's the kind of stuff that the Kraken need to see more, especially in close games. And it's cool to see that Chandler Stevenson can be that guy for them when they need him to be. I liked seeing that for sure. Gregory here, lemon lime Gatorade time, baby. 5-1 homestand. Spronger scores with the sweet apple from Stevenson. Joey with the shutout. This was definitely a good lemon lime Gatorade time game. This is the definition of it, right? Shutout, great play from Stevenson, like we've been talking about, the team effort on defense. This was just kind of Kraken hockey. I think the only thing missing really was, well, and you could argue that this was also Kraken hockey historically, it was a power play goal. Certainly had enough looks in this one, but yes, I am going to enjoy this lemon lime Gatorade a lot, especially once RJ joins us, as I always do. They had curly fries up on the press bridge, and I had them, but they were pretty salty, pretty salty. So this is this is I think gonna come in pretty clutch for me, Gregory. So I appreciate it, maybe even a little bit more than usual. Um, Michael here with the super chat. Hope all the ECH community in the Seattle area is doing okay after the bomb cyclone. Really appreciate that, Michael. And yeah, I hope everybody's doing okay. I know RJ's apartment is still without power. They've been without power now for over 24 hours. Had just gone grocery shopping, so that's really rough because probably can't trust the stuff in the fridge. I hope everybody else is doing okay. Hope anybody had property, nothing's damaged or too damaged, and all of that kind of stuff. It was pretty scary. It's pretty scary. So appreciate the super chat there, Michael, and looking out for everybody. Patrick with one. I started the shutout chant. Acknowledge me. We'll acknowledge you here, Patrick. It was awesome seeing you up on the Twins there late as well. That was really cool. I did notice you. Sorry I wasn't able to get a picture. I hope you had somebody get you a picture. But that was a lot of fun. But good on you for starting the shutout chant. Did you start it early though, Patrick? Were you like, because it could get dicey. You never know what's going to happen in this sport. But no, we will give you the props, Patrick, for sure. And then Will here with the super chat. Thanks for all your time and hard work for putting these together. Love the Kraken community. Really appreciate that, Will. That means a lot. When people recognize the stuff we do, really means a lot. And thank you for the super chat. Jumping over into the comments here, Rand kicking things off with Spronger is back. Yes, he is. I was a little worried because he has that breakaway earlier in the game, right? And you're like, this is okay. This is it. These are the moments that we brought Daniel Sprong back for. These are the opportunities that, a lot of guys on the team tend to struggle in. Daniel Sprong's got a great look at UC Saros. Let's see what he does. Tries to go 5-hole. Wasn't really there. Saros did a great job of keeping his stick down on the ground. Is able to make the save, and you're like, all right. And I turned to RJ and I was like, oh, okay, bring in Daniel Sprong for goal scoring. Ooh. Daniel Sprong, of course, had to go and prove me wrong, and prove RJ and all of you Daniel Sprong supporters right. I mean, look, like I said earlier, the goal is created by Chandler Stevenson and the work he does there, but Daniel Sprong was able to finish that off. It was still a good play from him, and he is on the board, and I hope that that kind of maybe snowballs things for him a little bit. Also, I like seeing Daniel Sprong on that Stevenson line. I know Light was over in the Discord talking about it and had talked about it originally. I think that's a good spot for him. I think it kind of makes sense. Line's a little iffy defensively. It's kind of, there's not a ton of great options to avoid that though. But it did look like if Chandler Stevenson's going to be able to play the way he did tonight, where he can set guys up like that, Daniel Sprong is a finisher, and he is somebody who's going to be able to take those opportunities created by Chandler Stevenson and make sure that he's got the red goal light going off more often than not with them. So appreciate that from Daniel Sprong. Hope we see a lot more of those in the future. Lindsay, both the non-empty net goals scored by the two players who wore toques and warm-ups. Coincidence? I think not. Great pull, Lindsay. We had put out the pictures of them. They were wearing the Hockey Fights Cancer beanies before the game. You are absolutely correct. The only two people to score on UC Saros tonight, the only two players who wore those out on the ice for warm-ups. That's a great pull, Lindsay. Oh, incredible. Good stuff. Really good stuff there. Byron, Dan/Jess being the masters of starting an incorrect lineup is actually a penalty is hilarious. That's twice now. Yes, they had that happen against the Hershey Bears, the AHL level last year. Doing it again tonight against the Nashville Predators. It looked like Jess was the one holding the lineup card or some sort of card there, or folded piece of paper, realistically what the card is. So yeah, I would hesitantly say right now that it looked like Jess was the one who spotted that and was then able to, notify Dan or notify the official, and they were able to catch it and get the penalty there. Not a normal penalty to see at the NHL level, but it was a great way to start the game and kind of get some momentum going in your favor. So whoever noticed it and picked up on it was great. I know RJ was planning on asking Coach Dan about that to kind of see how that happens and how that plays out, because that's something I would like to know. Like, is that something that one of the assistant coaches does every game, is look for something like that? And then, what's the protocol for kind of getting a ref's attention and flagging that down and notifying them? But it was an interesting thing to see happen, because play kind of stops, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. And I saw the ref go over to the scorekeeper's table, and the scorekeeper had got up with what I had recognized even from the press bridge, the starting lineup. And I was like, oh, they're checking the lineup. Like, it's just so not something you see normally. It was very, very interesting. But yes, I'm with you, Viren. The fact that it's, two of them now twice in the last, I mean, even in just the last handful of months, I mean, that's pretty wild. It's pretty wild for such a abnormal penalty. Sean, say what you will about Daniel Sprong. He looked good tonight. Maybe Stevenson's best effort. Yeah, I mean, this was certainly Stevenson's maybe best effort since the 4 assist game in Montreal. Did a lot to set up guys in that one as well. But these are the games where you do look at Chandler Stevenson. You go, okay, you can be an elite playmaker. You can create offense for your line mates and for your team. Let's go out there and let's really work on that. And, I think maybe with the consistency, it's not always there, but nights like tonight are when, you are happy to have somebody who has that ability on the roster, because it's a roster that doesn't always have somebody who can do that. Zoe, bought a last minute ticket, worth it. Oh my gosh, Zoe, absolutely worth it. Great job on that one. Hope you enjoyed the game. Tammy, fun way to break with my power out, but kind of hard to watch on the phone. Oh, that sucks, Tammy. I hope your power is able to come back soon. I know depending on the region, it looks like some places are saying not until Saturday, which is going to be really brutal for a lot of people. Yeah, that just sucks. I'm really sorry, Tammy. Um, Let's see. Who are the stars of the game? Walt's asking. Joey was third star of the game. Brandon Montour, second star of the game. Chandler Stevenson, first star of the game. Those were your 3 stars of the game, Walt. Uh, Man, I like the Stevenson Sprong chemistry. Yeah, I hope we get a little bit more of that moving forward here. I did like these lines. I'm really liking Berkey with McCann and Maddie. I feel like the chemistry is definitely building there. You're starting to see them kind of have an idea for where each other wants to be on the ice and where they're going to be in certain situations. I like this Sprong, Stevenson, Schultz line. I think Schwartz line, excuse me. I think that looks solid to me. You know, you have the old school Yanni Gord line with him and Ellie Tolvanen and Oliver Bjorkstrand. We know what that line can be. I think after this one, Ben Myers didn't have as solid a game as he did last time. I think, maybe with Shane having sat for a little while now, maybe Shane works back in next game and he can play with uh, Tanev and Cartier and maybe just kind of be like a little bit more of an energy line. Although you wanted Shane to work on stuff with the puck, so I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe I wish we had a timeline for Ebbs because what I like most about Berkey being with Maddie and McCann is it frees up Jordan Eberle to play with Shane Wright at some point again. And we know the chemistry that they have. We know what Shane Wright can do with Ebbs feeding him the puck. It's just unfortunate that Ebbs happens to be hurt right now, and we still don't have kind of a definitive timeline from the team on how long he's going to be out, and that is a little bit frustrating here. Let's see. Lindsey Spronger in Seattle is like peanut butter and jelly. It just works. It does seem to be working. Mason, I do enjoy the different type of chaos from the TNT broadcast versus the Kraken Hockey Network broadcast. Now, I did see on Discord, it seemed like everybody was saying TNT was a little bit more generous and kind to the Kraken than maybe the ESPN broadcasts are at times. Um, Let's see. Becca here with the big super chat. Appreciate this, Becca. Shout outs to Puget Sound Energy, Joey Decord, and Yanni Gord. All right. So it sounds like Becca maybe got power back, or at least they are definitely working hard to restore as much power as possible. I'm sure it's been brutal on them. Diagnosing problems, finding down power lines, dealing with all that kind of stuff. Hopefully they're all staying safe. But yes, they're definitely putting in the work right now. And just like Joey Decord put in the work during the shutout, and Yanni Gord playing another good game, is able to get that empty net goal this time around and kind of continue his positive momentum here from this homestand. Edward, looks like donuts are back on the menu. Oh, I am so going to get a donut tomorrow. Thank you for reminding me, Edward. Oh, that sounds so good right now. Oh, Charles, our friend from Circling Seattle Sports, was kind of plying me with candy during this one. So my sugar tooth is definitely ready for donuts tomorrow. Let's see. We've got the money plug in here. Joey gets the belt for sure. Maybe Stevenson for the 2 assists. That would be interesting. We'll have to hear from RJ who ends up getting it. I could see either of them though getting this one, and then the other one getting the puck for sure. I could definitely see something like that happening. Um, Let's see from Gunner. Wow, the homestand streak holds to the January one because I'll be. Oh, hope the home streak holds till the January one because I'll be there. 50 years and making the pilgrimage from Norway. Can't wait. That's gonna be awesome. Oh, that's gonna be so cool. No, that'll be fantastic. And yeah, hopefully it seems like this season, right? The home games have been different than in years past with this group. This group seems to, enjoy the home cooking, enjoy staying at home. Very much reverse of previous stuff, the change of the coaching staff, whatever it is. I think you're gonna be pretty safe. And I can't wait to have you in Seattle, Gunner. That's gonna be awesome. Sean, Maddie's gonna need some dental work for sure. Yes, he's gonna need a little something there. I think just a little. It looked like he was furious. He didn't get the call on that one too. Um, let's see. Todd, my power came back today just in time for the game. Happy for that. Yes, perfect timing there, Todd. Glad you were able to catch this one. It's definitely one to watch. Zoe, the Joey chants are great. It is awesome when we get the Joey chants for sure. Love all that kind of loud, passionate support for the goaltenders. And we know from Joey, he talks about it every time, how much he enjoys it as well. Edward, funny, that first goal scored by one of the lowest paid guys on the roster, assists to two of the highest paid guys on the roster. Yes, and then I think there was talk on the Discord about the second goal being one of, of all high paid guys, one where you were getting your money's worth out of that second goal. Let's put it that way, with Schwartz, Stevenson, and Montour all contributing to put that one away. That was definitely the case with that one. Let's see, Jake, TNT is kind of big on us now. Interesting. All right. I mean, that's what I was hearing. That's pretty great. That's pretty nice. Not gonna lie. Shay, Stevenson was immediately on that kicked in goal because he's familiar with kicked in goals against Seattle. This is lighthearted now that he's ours. Yes, I'm sure that anytime there's a kicked in goal situation, it is something that Kraken fans pay a little bit of attention to, just because of, our first ever game in Vegas and Chandler Stevenson getting that kicked in goal. I was a little surprised, I'm not going to lie, that they went ahead and they took that one away, and that they took it away so fast, because while I do think his skate moves towards the puck and it's off the ice and it moves towards the puck, what kind of RJ and I were looking at, and what I really thought was kind of happening, and it's especially clear if you look at his other foot, he's coming in to stop really hard, I thought. And if any of you have ever hockey stopped before, you know that sometimes your edge will dig into the ice and it'll kind of like right, and kind of skip a little over the ice. And I was wondering if that's what happened to it, and that's because certainly his one skate was definitely doing that. It looked like that back foot was also doing that, and so I was a little worried that they were going to look at it and say, okay, he wasn't intentionally doing a kicking motion. It was because he was kind of coming to a stuttering stop that we were able that he then makes contact with it and it goes in. But I am happy that it was taken off the board. Joey gets his shutout, and at least Edward and I get donuts tomorrow. That's awesome. Super chat here from the Markcast. Appreciate that. Chandler Stevenson equals the facilitator, new nickname. I can get on board with that. I can definitely get on board with that for a player like Chandler Stevenson, who's going to be passing the puck and facilitating hopefully a lot more goals like the ones he did earlier. That's good. I'm definitely on board with that, Markcast, and thank you for the super chat. Sean, Saros must be livid with literally everything in front of him. It's been it has probably felt like a lot longer than, almost 2 months into the season, a month and a half into the season. I'm sure for a lot of Nashville Predators players, it's felt like a lot longer than a month and a half, but I have a feeling it might feel even longer for UC Saros, especially after he's kind of figured out his game here and rebounded from the rough start he had. Milo, was anyone else kind of hoping for Joey to, with the empty net? It's got to happen at some point. Everybody's waiting for it, Milo. We're definitely all waiting for it. Hating for it. Jeez, no, that is not true. We are definitely all waiting for it. It is only a matter of time. Situation just never really developed in this one. Credit again, though, to the Kraken. They did not really allow Nashville to get any good, clean looks on Joey there late, because that would have been pretty heartbreaking to allow it to kind of go out that way. But the shutout, I mean. But yeah, it just didn't really develop in this one. But once the timing's there, he is absolutely gonna be going for it. Let's see. Have you ever seen a lineup penalty before? I've seen it in junior and AHL, but never in the NHL. From Bryce, I don't think I've ever seen it at the NHL. I mean, certainly I've never seen it live. This is my first experience with it in the building. I'm trying to remember if I've seen one watching a game live. I don't think I have. I think this was my first NHL level lineup penalty. And what I'm curious with, and I'm sure we'll probably find out realistically tomorrow, is was it like an equipment issue from when they submit the lineup and then they have to go and actually like go out on the ice? I could see, situation where there's like an equipment issue with the player's skate or helmet or whatever, and it's keeping them from being able to go on the ice. So you're kind of forced to go with somebody else because you don't want to take like a delay of game penalty. And you just kind of cross your fingers and you hope nobody notices. And I do wonder if that's what happened here with 91 supposed to be out there and they threw 9 out there instead, was especially because they play two different positions. I was wondering if they were trying to maybe get away with one there and hope that the numbers were close enough that nobody was going to notice. I'm very curious to know kind of behind the scenes what led to that penalty getting taken. You know what I mean? I think that would be interesting. Um, Brooke just finished watching Montour's TNT interview, and it was so sweet. He's so happy to be here. That is awesome to hear. I'll have to go and catch that in a little bit. Thanks for throwing that one in here. Um, Josh, y'all talked about the undrafted line working hard every shift. No better example of this than Tanev diving to sweep the puck out of the zone on the penalty kill. He's been really fun to watch. Tanev is a trooper in this one. He went down hard twice. Once from a little bit of friendly fire in the neutral zone, or I guess it was the offensive zone, and then he had that unfortunately timed kind of stumble where he goes down into the boards kind of behind Saros there in the third period. And it might have been Jeremy Lauzon who comes in hard, kind of slams him while he's on his knees into the boards there. It was inadvertent. Like it wasn't like he came in intentionally to totally slam him when he was down and Tanev had, just stumbled down. So it was just like really unfortunate timing, but you could tell that one rocked him for sure. And he stayed out there, got back, contributed in the defensive zone later that shift. He really had a good game in this one. Just same way that he's been having them here. Edward, other than the salt, how's the seasoning on the curly fries? I love me some good curly fries. I do too, Edward. I don't normally eat the intermission food up here on the press bridge, but I saw the curly fries. I had to go get some. Unfortunately, it was just basically salt. I usually look for a little bit more seasoning. That's what I'm there for with the curly fries. This you really just kind of tasted the salt. So, that was a little rough. Light with the super chat. Stevenson has more assists than Marchessault has points. Yes, I'm a hater, and it's a great day to hate. Also, the Matty line torched the Preds tonight. Yeah, I don't know what the expected goal share percentages are for the different lines tonight for this one, but I can imagine that Matty line. It seemed like they were in the offensive zone all the time in this one. They did a great job of kind of making the game one directional when they were out there. That doesn't surprise me. And yeah, I things have been really rough in Nashville. It does not surprise me that Stevenson has been able to contribute more for the Kraken than Marchessault has in Nashville, just because nobody's doing much in Nashville right now. Alex, Joey very much in the Vezina conversation right now. Been very impressed with his performance this season. Stevenson with a quiet 3 points as well. Love to see it. Yes. I would have to see kind of where Joey stacks up now, uh, both with conventional numbers like save percentage, but also with goals saved above expected. Because I've been, Joey's been playing well, but I haven't really paid too much attention to kind of how well he's been playing with regards to every other goaltender in the league. But I will take your word for it, Alex, because you know your stuff. So yeah, there we go. And I'm all for it. He has been playing lights out, so I would love for him to be in that conversation and get the national recognition for it because he he does. Byron, the Schutz continue to haunt us. Yes, the Schwartz, Schultz, all of it. It's still there. It will never leave. I think. Um, Fusion makes Berkey still looks good on top. One has to go in eventually. That's what I keep thinking, but we haven't seen it yet. Um, Let's see. Sean, TNT way more kind to the Kraken, and they absolutely love Joey, but who doesn't? Yeah, I'm sure the Winter Classic shutout and that whole situation, and what a great interview he had afterwards with that too, probably endeared him to a lot of the people, both in front of the camera and behind the camera on those TNT crews, just because he was his wonderful Joey self that day, and everybody got to see it and experience it, and that's really solid. You need, again, on the West Coast, it's easy to get overlooked. You need to make the most of those opportunities. Joey did at the Winter Classic, and he made an impact. And that's just what you got to do. Daniel Bilesma said he needed 20 games to get things going. How we feeling after 20 games? So that was going to be like the premise for the next deep dive. So apologies, Daniel, if I don't give like a full answer here. I feel a lot better now than I did, 2 weeks ago. I will tell you that, about how things are going. I think we're starting to see the Kraken look a lot more comfortable with the different systems that Dan came in and installed. I think we're seeing the coaching staff look more comfortable with what they're doing and how they're interacting with the group. I think you're seeing the group play a lot more confidently. I think you're seeing better defensive efforts from them, like tonight, where they were able to really kind of play a good team defense in front of Joey. Yes, Nashville was able to make some passes to dangerous areas. Yes, they were able to get to the crease a couple times, but that's hockey point. You're never going to play perfect, but I feel like the defense has been getting better, and I feel like Joey has been playing outstanding. The offense, look, we've talked about it in the past. It's not the highest scoring group to begin with, but I feel like they are finding a way to get the goals that they need to get on most nights. I know they got shut out the game prior to this one, but I do feel like they are able to kind of get stuff going. I thought the power play looked fantastic tonight for, well, most of their opportunities. That third opportunity wasn't great, but those first two in the first period, I thought the power play looked incredible. They had puck movement, they had player movement. If not for UC Saros, that power play scores. So I do like kind of the strides that they're making here. And RJ and I will go more in depth into everything on the next deep dive with regards to the 20 games thing. And I plan on um, either having me or RJ ask Dan about it as well, now that we're at that threshold and he really kind of had drawn that line in the sand. I would love to hear what he feels like maybe the team needs to work on a little bit, or what they've been doing right, what's been gelling as of late, all of that kind of stuff. Stratic, what was your favorite goal? It's got to be the first one. That play from Stevenson to generate that opportunity, make the pass over to Daniel Sprong. It was unbelievable. It was so good. I absolutely loved that one. I'm sure it'll be RJ's favorite just because it involved Daniel Sprong putting the puck in the net, which I don't know. Maybe we make that the drinking game tonight, everybody, when RJ joins us, is whenever he just is like, okay, Dylan, give me a sec. I got to talk about Daniel Sprong. That's when I'll down this Gatorade and make up for the salt intake earlier. Even though Gatorade does have sodium, that is one of the electrolytes it's got. I, eh, it'll even out. Um, B, honestly, after 20 games, we're one game above 500 with some positive momentum, and systems seem to be clicking well now. I'll take that, to be honest. I will too. Got a super chat here from Elijah. Thank you very much. Joey with Gru's mask tripped me up during the third. Okay, so I saw people briefly talking about that in Discord. I wasn't able to totally see it. Was he wearing Gru's mask, or was he just wearing his dark blue mask? Because he's got the two different masks. But yeah, what was going on there with that? I mean, we'll ask RJ, because I'm pretty sure Joey is one of the people that they talked to, and I'm sure somebody will have noticed and asked about that. But I'm curious to know more about that, because I don't watch the goaltender that much, as you all probably know. I'm looking at like a million other things, so I tend not to. But yeah, I noticed that. I did see that he had the mask, but I don't know if it was Gru's or if it was just his darker one. So we'll see. Everybody's saying about the kicked in goal. Becca's saying the kick in looked super obvious from our view on TNT. We didn't get too many looks at it here, and obviously live from where we are on the press bridge, we're like behind him, and because of the way he was angled, you couldn't see his feet at all. So we had no like live view able to kind of get a good read on the situation. And then we were only given like kind of two quick because the replay was so short, we were only given like a quick look or two, and that's where I was just kind of like trying to notice anything to see what they were going to do, because it generally takes a lot for them to take a goal off the board. So I was trying to figure out, I was looking at it from like their perspective of, we don't want to take a goal off the board. What can we see here to make that happen? Right. I was trying to think worst case scenario like that. And so that's where I noticed his one skate kind of skipping as he was trying to stop, and kind of where that all came about here. Um, so, but it looks like everybody's saying on the TNT. I think said he wasn't trying to stop when he kicked in the goal from Tammy. A lot of people say Lindsay definitely looked like a kick to me. Daniel, one angle looked like a kick, one angle looked totally like a kick. All right, so you guys must have had just different than what we had. Um, that's the way it goes sometimes. Steven, on the broadcast, Burnett said it was just a writing error. And Julia, TNT asked Andrew Burnett, and he said that numbers looked too similar and they got mixed up. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I can see that happening, right? I have terrible handwriting. That would be something I think somebody could reasonably guess happened off of something I did. Just being honest and being real with you for a second. Anybody who's seen my handwriting wouldn't be surprised. But that is kind of that's a crazy unforced error to have for yourself. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that's a wild one. I was just everybody was just informing me, RJ, as you join us here, that according to Andrew Burnett, the issue there at the beginning was just they wrote down the wrong number. It looked the same, and they just wrote down the wrong one.
Interesting. Now I have Dan Bilesma's side of that actually, because he was asked that first question here.
Yes, because I was wondering kind of the process on their end, and then I hope you kind of also went into the process of then how you get the officials' attention and make it known to them.
He did. He actually went into detail on this, so I'm happy to be able to give you this answer.
Should have been the drinking game, everybody, because I should have known Dan would take care of all of us.
Yes, Dan always takes care of all of us, and he certainly did in this one. So, as far as the process on the Kraken's end, they said they first noticed something. So, of course, the away team will submit first their lineup to the home team, and so the home team knows what lineup they're going with. So they had that roster sheet, and they said that it looked a little different. Or no, what they had on the roster sheet was what they had been going with in the past few games. When they lined up for the anthem, the players that were on the ice were different than what they had gone with in previous games, and then also what was on that roster sheet. And so at that point, they started to take notice and were looking for it. Okay, are they going to put those guys out? Did they mess up for the anthem? What is the question there? Because apparently the rule, according to Dan, once the puck drops, that is when they've officially put out the wrong lineup. They had until the moment of puck drop to put the correct lineup out there. They did not. And then at that point, at the first stoppage, the coaching staff for the Kraken made sure to get the officials' attention and inform them of the situation. They went back and looked at it, realized the lineup was incorrect, and called the penalty. So as far as Dan's understanding, the officials maybe should know that, but it's not on them to notice it and call it. That's something that you do have to bring to their attention. But the Kraken coaching staff was already completely on that because they had gone back and watched how the Predators' lines had been in the last few games. Something was up, something was different, and so they were well aware of it. They were just waiting to get to puck drop to be able to make the officials aware of it.
That tape review and advanced scouting for the win yet again, RJ. I love it. I love when that stuff
I love
really
it
comes
too.
through. That's a super solid explanation, as I would expect from Dan Bilesma. Anything else that Dan had to say about this one or any of the players? I don't know exactly who you ended up getting to talk to. There was definitely some good choices for this one.
For sure. We got Stevenson, we got Sprung, and we got Montour. But I do want to mention one more thing with Dan first, because, man, he gave us some treats in this one. So he walked up to the table, right, for the post-game presser with a towel over his head.
Yes.
I got to pull the video. I wasn't able to get it in time on video, but I know the team will put something in the Dropbox, so I'm going to go pull that video when the time comes. But he walks up there, he's got the towel on his head, pulls it off, leans in the mic and just says, "Schwartzy."
That's so good. Oh,
incredible, right?
I love it. Oh, I love it. And for those of you who don't know, if you're watching the broadcast, maybe you noticed it. We had put up the tweet. You had clipped it from the broadcast. But yes, Jaden Schwartz used a towel while he was kind of on the ice during one of the stoppages, throws it back towards the bench, kind of not looking, and it landed right on Dan Bilesma's face and covered him up right as the camera had zoomed in on him for a good close-up. It was perfect.
Yeah, so Dan clearly was aware of that, which, again, awesome to go grab a towel and do that. He is so funny. His sense of humor is incredible. So loved that moment. That started things off, and the very next thing was the explanation for the incorrect lineup. So it was a treat to start the post-game presser. I mean, as far as overall takeaways from the game, he thought they've been on a good run of play recently. The basic stuff you'd expect. Had very good words to say about Joey and how he's played for them, and really thought they were actually he was disappointed that Joey did not get the shutout against the Islanders. He felt the way that Joey was playing, the way the team was playing, kind of deserved the shutout there. So he was very happy to see Joey get the shutout tonight. as for the players that we talked to, Chandler Stevenson gave an interesting answer when asked about the first goal, right? So he gets that puck net front, and he was asked, did you have any thoughts of shooting that? Were you thinking about shooting that puck? And he said, no, not with the way things are going right now. And so kind of followed up on that a little bit. And he said that he kind of feels snake bitten and just pucks aren't going in for him right now. And so he's kind of trying to change some things up. And so his first thought on that was actually to make a pass, given that he's not really scoring right now.
Interesting. I mean, he's not a player that typically has a lot of shots. Yeah, like that's not typically his game. So to hear him say that is interesting. I mean, he had that great chance right at the close of the first period where he just kind of wasn't quite able to make it in. That is interesting to hear. I mean, I don't hate the idea of thinking pass first in a situation like that when you have the defense and especially the goaltender, and a goaltender playing as well as Saros was playing tonight, so sell out to stop you. I don't hate when you see something like that, thinking like, do I have anybody around me that's going to have a nice wide open net to put this puck into?
Which is unusual because feel like for most players that aren't scoring, your instinct is, okay, I'm going to shoot more. I'm going to make sure to get more pucks on net. I mean, that's certainly the way that Berkey has been trying to see things, right? But Stevenson, he's not a natural shooter, and as Vyron pointing out, his shot rates are way down even from last year. But he's kind of going in the other direction with it. Like, if I'm not going to be scoring, I'm going to be finding people. And on that second goal too, he was talking about looking around, trying to find someone. But he said Montour was barking at him the whole time, just yelling at him, here, get me that pass. So he definitely noticed him on that play. So that was fun to hear.
They were some good ones. You said you talked to Joey?
No, we did not talk to Joey. We talked to Sprong. No Joey. Yeah, after the shutout, it was Stevenson, Sprong, and Montour. And then Sprong was fun because you could tell he really enjoyed scoring in a goal for the Kraken again.
Yeah.
Again, talked about how much he loves playing for this team. And also, he says he feels like that shooting mentality. Like, that's what he brings. I think he quoted that he got 6 shots tonight. You can go check that if you want, but I think that sounds about right. He was throwing a lot of pucks to the net. 6 feels like a lot, but that's what he said. Maybe shot attempts, shots, whatever. But he was shooting the puck quite a bit. He talked about that goal too, where kind of walked us through it. When Stevenson gets that puck, he was going to the net thinking that it's going to be a rebound there. And he said there was a moment when Stevenson kind of pulled up for a little bit where I thought, oh, maybe this is going to get back to me. So he got ready for it. And then, of course, it did. And he was ready to slam it into the net.
He does have 6 shots on goal in the NHL app. I am looking at that right now. What do you think of him on Stevenson's wing? Because I thought that looked pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Stevenson is a playmaker. He's going to be able to find guys. Sprong is a shooter. And it just makes a lot of sense. I thought it worked. I know there was that one play where Sprong kind of had that partial breakaway going in on that great pass up to him from Schwartz, and you were saying that maybe he's got to bury that. I do agree with the sentiment of it. Saros was having a heck of a game, and I don't mind him trying 5-hole there. But look, he's generating 6 shots on goal on that line, and I like it. And also Sprong, he definitely senses the opportunity here playing in the top 6. He talked about that. Having that opportunity to play those minutes is huge for him, and he wants to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Chat, do we count that as the drinking game there? I felt like RJ got a little excited there. He brought up what I brought up earlier about the breakaway opportunity. I don't know.
Oh, no. What did you tell them I was going to say?
I want it to count. I was waiting for you to get on here and just be like, Dylan, just for a second, let me talk about Daniel Sprong, how good he was and all that stuff, and he scored and all that. And so
I may have started with that if not for Dan's amazing presser. I kind of had to lead with that. I feel like the other thing you might have said I was going to say was also same thing as before, how Nashville looked really bad.
They did look bad. I have not gotten into that at all, actually. Really, all that we've talked about with Nashville was how solid UC Saros looked tonight, kind of kicking things off. I do want to mention, though, just because you've kind of talked about them, or at least with Chandler Stevenson, going back to him for a second, got a new nickname from the chat, the Facilitator, which
I like it.
I after nights like tonight, that's courtesy of the Mark cast. I think that's pretty good.
That's much better than the one I said to you after his second assist.
Yes. And then also Lindsay pointed out way back at the beginning of chat, the 2 players to score on UC Saros tonight were the 2 players during warm-ups wearing the Hockey Fights Cancer beanie /toques.
Whoa. You're right.
which is a
That's pretty
shame.
cool.
Yeah, which is a shame because that would have been a fun one for the locker room, I feel like, or to tell somebody in there.
It would have. It's a shame I didn't notice
Because
it. Yeah,
next year we would have seen everybody eligible to wear them.
that's right. I feel like everyone would go with that. Well, they are practicing tomorrow at 11, so maybe you can bring it up there. It might not be too late.
Yeah. Yeah, people talking about
And Byron saying, "Well, now I have to share that one." It wasn't good. It was Stevie Apples. It was bad.
I mean,
Dylan just ignored it completely.
Yeah. Moving on.
I don't blame you.
Yes. Now Elijah's been talking a lot, and I saw that there was talk about this on the Discord about Joey's mask changing during this game, potentially from his dark blue one to his white one for the third period. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that. And it's the type of thing I feel like I would normally notice, but maybe since
Or at least
if he
part of the
did,
third?
maybe because it's one of the masks that I know he wears, I just didn't think about it.
That's what I
don't
was
know.
thinking kind of happened with me. But yeah, no, that's
I'll have to go back to the tape and check because I'll
Yeah.
have video clips. I could find it easily.
yeah. Kylie pointed out all the other Pacific teams playing tonight lost. We won. That is good news. And then Daniel, the towel made it on TNT, not who threw it, just him getting hit by the towel. Well, now everybody knows. And Becca putting in Stevie Appleseed.
There we go. I'm getting some traction. No, let's drop it.
Yeah. Elijah saying the goalie mask was for about 3 minutes during the kicked in goal. So it was just right around that. Wow. Could you imagine if that goal had counted and it was during the brief amount of time he had to switch his mask?
Cursed
That would have
masks.
reinforced.
Never wear it again.
It would have reinforced every like goalie, superstition stereotype that he's ever believed in would have all been reinforced in that one moment.
That's the hockey gods telling you something. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Patrick with the super chat here. This is revenge for making me listen to country every time we play Nashville. Give me grunge or metal. I'm with you on that, Patrick. I would take that every game if I could. Although I don't know if it's just because where we sit on the press bridge, RJ, so the speakers are kind of right at our level. It does feel like Climate Pledge is louder this year. Like the music and the mix and everything has been louder this year. It was a little rough. It can be a little rough at times with certain things.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's just me, but it does feel louder this year.
Yes. I will say credits to the country band tonight. I thought they sounded pretty good. The 3-part harmonies were nice. Like seeing a steel slide guitar. That is just not something you get every day. My uncle plays one of those really well. I've been able to mess around on his somewhat. It's a fun instrument to play, fun one to hear. And after the band from a couple games ago, I'll take anything. Just
yes.
Sounds good.
Oh gosh, yes.
And anybody who was at the game, I think it was the Islanders game, knows what we're talking about. But appreciate the super chat there, Patrick, and I'm absolutely with you in spirit. Drew, Joey's mask had a part he didn't like on his mask, so they fixed it and brought it back. I was sitting on the tunnel. Okay.
Oh,
so I wonder if it was a strap or something.
Yeah. Well, that's one I could easily ask him about tomorrow. Like he'd be happy to talk about that.
Is there anybody in the locker room more approachable than Joey Decord? Because I don't think so.
No, absolutely not. Joey is the most approachable by far.
Yeah. It almost feels like he takes off his gear like slower, like constantly looking at us. Like, is somebody going to come talk to me? it's kind of like what it feels like at times, right? Yeah, thank God the goal came back because the cause of the white mask is the one that would have been cursed, and it's so pretty that would have been tragic. I'm with you because I think I like his white mask better than his dark one. I like both of them a lot, but the white one has really grown on me.
I'll agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always just been into the paint splatter look too. That's definitely something there. Let's see. I'm happy Tolvey stepped up his play tonight. Probably his best game of the season from Light. Yeah, I mean, probably had a little bit of an extra pep in his step facing his former team, the team that waived him. It did feel like on that first power play, especially too, they were really trying to feed him.
Yeah, they were. I mean, and he was open, so it makes sense why they were trying to feed him. But yeah, it seemed like they were trying to get him one. He had a good one-timer chance later in the game too. I mean, on the other side of the ice. Yeah, he was kind of feeling it. It feels like he always does against the Preds. for a lot of players, you throw out the revenge game narrative, and it's you don't seriously mean it. Feels like every game against the Preds is a revenge game for Tolvanen.
Yeah, yeah. Mason feeling it from that Islanders game too. So here we go. Good night, Elijah. Thanks for joining us. Two questions here for you, RJ. One, because I already gave my answer to Stratix favorite goal of the evening, so I want to ask you that first.
It's got to be the first one. That play by Stevenson in front was just fantastic, gorgeous.
It was. That's the one I said too, because you just to see a Kraken player create the offensive chance the way he did there was really special, and that's something that we've really been wanting to see. I have this from Light. I do hope we see Shane next game. I liked what Ben Meyers' line did, and I think Shane could add more scoring threat to that. So I do want your take kind of on Ben Meyers and the Shane situation, because I already gave mine.
Right. Well, Dan actually did praise Ben Meyers in that line for what they did and kind of helping to generate the momentum that led to a goal. And so, look, I mean, I think in that role, in that spot, he's looked better. And though you do have to get Shane going at some point, you have to get him back in the lineup. You've got to give him an opportunity to get back in, and that is more important, arguably, than any individual game that you're going to play here in this upcoming stretch. So, I would get him back in the lineup. It's unfortunate that Sprongs looks so good in that spot with Stevenson and Schwartz, because that's where I said they should put Shane Wright. That's where I would think to put him. I do wonder now if they sit him for maybe one more and just really let him go against Anaheim and San Jose, because those teams are also bad, and
Yeah.
you can maybe hope to build some confidence there. Those are the teams that he played against in his call up last year, and just kind of hope the reset works, just like calling him up last year. So maybe that's the way I'd go, but I don't know where you'd put him without messing with things. But you got to find a spot for him. What do you think?
No, so that was kind of where I'm at, because I really like Berkey being on the first line with Maddie and Ebbs, Maddie and McCann. I think that really works. I would love for Ebbs to be healthy right now to play with Shane, because that's what that frees up, right? It frees up Jordan Eberle off of that line. You compare him with Shane. We know the chemistry they have. We don't know how long Jordan Eberle's going to be out, but given the fact that we don't know, it probably means he's not coming back for the next game, I would guess.
He's not.
Yeah. So, I don't want to say, and he's probably not coming back soon in general, which then means, you don't want to hold Shane out until Eberle comes back. Like, you want to get him in at some point. I just don't know where to put him, because I don't know that him playing with Cartier and Tanev is going to kind of fix the aspects of his game that Dan had highlighted. You know what I mean? Like,
the whole point is to get him to stop thinking like a fourth liner.
Right.
You're literally putting him
on
centering the fourth line.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So I don't really know what the answer is, at least in the short term here with Shane Wright, and it's it's a little frustrating. What was the other thing I was going to ask you about? Oh shoot, I had it. I lost it. I got it again, and now I've lost it a second time. Oh, well. Edward, so Joey's the polar opposite of Marchand. I'm just here so I don't get fined, Lynch. Yes.
I had never thought about it that way before, but yes, he is the polar opposite. Yeah.
Yes. No.
I'm just here so I can talk to people, please.
Yeah. And Becca, isn't photographer Jen obsessed with the white mask this season? I do believe so, yes. Yes. We'll do a quick last call here for the last 7 minutes or so that will be on here. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight, as always. Brooke saying Shane on the wing. I mean, that is
even if you move him to the wing, though, I don't know where to put him. That's the problem. Like, the wing spot was the one with Stevenson and Schwartz.
You could put him with Yanni and Bjorkstrand, and you bump Tolvey off of that line.
Yeah, and I guess move like Bjorkstrand to kind of a left wing or something.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the best option if you need to force him into the lineup. Yeah,
because Bjorkstrand can do that. Let's see. The thing I was going to ask you, and this is really more of like a tomorrow conversation, and one that I for practice and asking Dan, and then something that I think should be kind of the main focus of the next deep dive podcast was. But tonight was game 20, right? Like, we're 20 games in. And where do we think the group is around that, right? Like, that was the magic number for Coach Dan, and we've now passed it. Where are we thinking?
Oh, man. my personal opinion, still I'm going to go with very mid. And it's hard for me to tell because they keep playing against teams that are so bad that it's really hard to get a gauge on how well they can play. The Rangers game was actually a promising sign because you face a good team and you play them kind of close. But what, 5 of their last 6, I think, are against teams that are just flat out awful. And you just don't get a good measure on a team that way. Look, they've taken care of business. That's a good sign, but I can't really tell how good or bad they are. Unfortunately, in a way, you've got a few more of those games coming up. Anaheim twice, San Jose twice.
Yep.
So I really don't feel like I actually have a full read on this team.
So I took the tact of like looking to see like how far they've improved in the systems and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because overall they are kind of what we thought they'd be, almost regardless of how like well they played within any sort of structure. I feel like they'd roughly be where they are now. But I do feel like the defense is coming along. I thought like tonight, the way they kind of had that group effort in front of Joey, I kind of started off the post game talking about that, and Daniel putting this in here just now. TNT said Nashville had over 50 shot attempts that didn't make it to the net, blocked or missed. I mean, I do believe that in this one. Yeah, because the Kraken were really, really getting in front of it. But I do feel like the defensive approach has been steadily improving, especially over this homestand. I feel like the offensive stuff, how much of it is the system still not clicking? How much of it is you just don't have, a bunch of like legit every time they're out there offensive threat guys, right? Like we see Chandler Stevenson, we get games like this from Chandler Stevenson, but it hasn't been consistent. Same thing could be said about Maddie. Same thing could be said about the fourth line guys, the undrafted guys, right? Like they've been great this homestand, but it can be inconsistent with them. So I think from that standpoint, we'll see. We'll talk about it more on the deep dive. Like I said, Shay, I saw a tweet that said it might be time for Nashville to cancel another concert. I believe that was Kraken Canada, and I know I've seen other like national folks talking about that at previous points throughout this kind of rough start to the season for the Preds. RJ, I think I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't remember, but they were like, can you two please schedule a concert just so the Predators can cancel on it? And then you cancel the concert or something. I don't know. But
it's that or get rid of the coach. I mean, it's something I had the chance to talk about with some other media members. I'm not, of course, going to name any names, as we were waiting there to get into the locker room. But I think the general consensus was it was just absolutely brutal stuff from Nashville tonight, and they clearly don't have it. And I think that Barry Trotz should be offering Jim Montgomery a blank check at this point to try and get him in as the next coach.
Yeah. Zoe, did RJ see who got the belt?
I did not. They've done a good job hiding it from us.
Okay.
I was able to spot the Yanni won the other game, but they've done a good job moving it away.
Did you happen to notice who had the puck?
No. The puck I've never seen. They always get rid of that.
Well, but sometimes you can see it on the board.
Oh yeah, on the board.
Like, if you look at
it's usually not up yet. It's usually not up yet. It's just the previous ones that's up.
Oh, really? I'm never down
there. I think they have to go.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you wouldn't know. I usually am used to seeing the previous ones up.
Isn't it part of the video, like when they post it on social media, that the player walks over and puts it into the board?
Does it have the number on it already?
No, but I just assumed they walked over to it.
Because the ones on the board that are there have the number on. I think they got to go put the number on it after.
Yeah, but I figured it was just like a sticker that they put on later. Like they could just walk over with the sticker sheet and stick it on the puck on the board.
I guess they could do that. I'll pay closer attention.
Yeah. Whichever one of us is there after the next game, we'll look at it and try to figure it out. Ricky, are they better than Anaheim? Yes.
Yes, I believe so, and I think we're going to find out plenty next week.
Anaheim does a weird thing where they pop off sometimes for like no apparent reason, and here's the other thing. We saw it tonight with UC Saros. Dostal in net for Anaheim has been incredible this year. Like I feel like the big threat in the games against Anaheim, Kraken are definitely a better team than Anaheim, but Dostal has really been able to goalie some teams this year. And with the Kraken offense being the thing that's the most shaky for them, that would be the one thing giving me pause, or the one thing that I would say could make that game potentially closer than it otherwise should be on paper.
I agree, although after this game, this feels like the exact type of game that Anaheim could throw at you, and the Kraken, with how well Saros played,
RJ,
and the
we
Kraken
just
were
saw
fine.
like 39-year-old Jonathan Quick shut them out like 4 days ago.
Yes, but with an actual good team with some talented players in front of him.
All right.
No one on the Ducks is making that pass Artemi Panarin made.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. Kylie, I'm happy being tied for a wild card spot and only 3 points from first. Western teams are bunched together right now for sure. That is true, and that's why banking all these points against these bad teams is important for this Kraken group.
Yeah, it's crucial. You have to take care of business. As much as I qualify it by saying, yes, you're playing against bad teams, these are the points you need. And this is what separates them from how they were last year. They could not take care of business in these games last year. And as a result, they were a bottom 10 team.
All right, so Zoe doing the work here. Stevenson got the belt. Spronger got the puck, and then B bringing up the puck just goes to whoever scored the game-winning goal, right? Is that who gets the puck? That would make sense because it doesn't make sense to have two like awarded awards or
and I know in their puck chart that they have in the locker room, right? It's kind of the win puck, so it would make sure it sense to go whoever scored the game-winning goal.
Yeah, Viren saying I think so. Okay, there you go. That makes sense then. That makes more sense than whatever it was I was thinking of. So thank you for that. All right. Fusion Mix. Kraken are lucky that the Pacific is tepid garbage this year. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, RJ, to see the Kings in second place.
I know. Yeah, the Pacific is not doing so. We're all just waiting for the Oilers to catch fire and, rocket to the top of that division.
Yeah. Oh, and Byron saying in the first video, Dan said shootout game winner goes to the goalie. Okay, because that would make sense. Because, I was just thinking about that. I was like, I'm pretty sure Joey's got one on there, and I don't think he scored any game-winning goals this season. I probably would have remembered that.
Not yet.
Not yet, yes. Although
he totally could.
That would be an interesting scenario.
It's easy. It's easy because, look, Kraken are up by a goal, empty net, other team pulls the goalie, Joey scores on the empty net, and then they give one up right after because they, start slacking.
Because he's too busy thinking about the goal he just scored.
Yeah.
There you go. So easy. You just need many things to play out in exactly one specific way. Shay, do we think that Nashville's problem is that they added too much in the offseason? I think that's part of it, Shay. I think part of it's the coach that they have. Neither you or I are big fans of Brunette. I just think it's just a weird roster. It's a weird roster with a mishmash of different ideas of what a hockey team should be.
Right. They added a lot in a way that didn't necessarily fit together, and especially in the scheme and the systems that they have. One thing, you compare it to the Kraken and the players they brought in Stevenson and Montour. What you can argue about those contracts and whether they're good or not, but those two players, it seemed like, were targeted specifically for how that team wanted to play with this new coaching staff, right? They went and identified those guys where I feel like Nashville, it was more of let's just sign the best players that we can and worry about the fit later or make it work later.
Yeah, no, we'll figure it out as we go, which, as we're seeing, is not the best way to run a hockey team. Turns out. Yep. Shocker. And then good night, Pablo. And then, Mason, goalie goal, : it's easy. Just tell Joey that, RJ. I will add goalie game winning goal. It's easy.
I'll make sure to tell him that tomorrow after I ask him about the mask thing.
Yeah, that is your direct quote there. All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for this rendition of Emerald City Hockey Postgame Live. Want to thank everybody for joining us, especially those of you who joined us without power. That really means a lot. Love the dedication. We appreciate the support a lot. Appreciate everybody who gave the super chats. I still have about half of this Gatorade to go chug on my way home to make up for those salty curly fries. Appreciate everybody. We'll see you all next time we'll see a lot of people for the next game, because it is our Patreon live game commentary, RJ.
I wanted to make sure we got that in, and we're plugging it. I was trying to get your attention here to make sure that we talked about it, because
I was working to it.
Okay.
I got to trust you. Remember?
That's right. Is that in the contract somewhere? Yeah, you get paid by the word, but I knew you would get to it. I got to trust the process there. But yes, it is our live game commentary that is on Patreon. So make sure to check that out if you're already a patron. If not, you can try it out for free. Sign up for a 7-day free trial. You can get that. You can go back and look at my Armchair GM stream that got cut a little bit short by my power going out. You can go back and look at Dylan's prospect chat that did not get cut short. And you can check out all of that for free on patreon.com/Emerald City Hockey. And then I did see the last thing from Shay. Will you be at the PWHL game in Seattle? I certainly plan on being there. So
yeah, I
wouldn't
plan
miss
on
it.
it as well. Yep. Perfect. AK, where's Afra? She's at home. We need these road games so that she can join the post game. It's all these home games. She unfortunately can't come to Climate Pledge with me. For me would be nice, actually. I could take the night off. She could handle things. That would be nice.
And if you weren't swayed on the live game commentary, I'm sure Afra will make an appearance on that, right? Can you guarantee it, Dylan?
Yes, I can guarantee an Afra appearance for sure. She'll be all over that thing. So looking forward to it. And reminder, whether you join us for the live game commentary or not, it is a 1:00 Pacific time start for that LA game. So just want to make sure everybody knows that ahead of time. Thanks so much I wish I could get our press credentials. I mean, maybe we could ask.
There's nothing stopping us from applying. It's a form.
That's true.
That is
true. We can fill it out and see if we can do that. All right. We got a couple days here to maybe cook something up. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you all next time.